looking to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Timero delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region on today's headlines. No Filipino was among the casualties in the string of suicide bombings in Sri Lanka that killed scores of people on Easter Sunday, the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA reported. Brunei was ranked 7th among Southeast Asian countries for fixed broadband speed for March this year. And more than 130 participants show off their colorful designs during a centuries-old flute kites festival at the Wadong Noi village in Hanoi. No Filipino was among the casualties in the string of suicide bombings in Sri Lanka that killed scores of people on Easter Sunday, the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA reported. The DFA said the Philippine Honorary Consul to Colombo, Triol Enayaki, informed the agency that he is in touch with the Filipino community in the area. The explosions occurred at the St. Sebastian's Church in Negombo, a city about 20 miles north of Colombo, the St. Anthony's Shrine in Colombo, and Zion Church in the eastern city of Baticaloa during an Easter Sunday service. The embassy, for its part, continues to monitor the situation and assures readiness to provide any assistance Filipinos in the area may need. On Sunday night, the DFA expressed sympathies to the Sri Lankan people and the bereaved kins of the victims. Sri Lankan police have already arrested 13 men in connection with the bomb blast. The latest figures show that 290 people have been killed. Authorities have not made public details on those held after Sunday's attacks, but a police source said the 13 were detained at 2 locations in and around Colombo. Meanwhile, Malacanang expressed condolences to the families victims of the explosions in Sri Lankan churches and hospitals that killed over nearly 300 people and injured over hundreds of others in Catholic celebration of Easter Sunday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the palace is offering sincere solidarity and heartfelt prayers to the people of Sri Lanka, renewing its commitment to boost ties. He said, "We express our sincere solidarity and offer our heartfelt prayers to the citizens of Sri Lanka, as well as to the other people who have been affected by this horrific attack on the churches and hotels in the said South Asian country, on what should have been a day for solemn prayer and thoughtful introspection." Panelo said in a statement, "We likewise offer our deep condolences to the grieving families of those who perished as we wish the safe recovery of those injured." The presidential spokesperson meanwhile condemned acts of terrorism, saying all nations should join hands in stopping the unlawful use of force or violence to achieve peace. Reports show that the Easter Day explosions took place in 3 Sri Lankan churches and 4 hotels, killed nearly 300 people and injured more hundreds of others. Authorities suspect that the explosions were carried out by suicide bombers. It has been described as the worst violence to hit the South Asian country since its civil war ended a decade ago. The Philippine Navy will deploy the BRP Andres Bonifacio PS-17, one of its most capable offshore patrol vessels, to the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting, plus Maritime Security Field Training Exercise 2019. The Philippine News Agency reports that Navy spokesperson Captain Jonathan Zata said the ship and the 200-man contingent aboard her will depart from Pier 13, Manila South Harbor around 9 a.m. Tuesday. The ADMM Plus Marsec FTX 2019 will take place from April 29th to May 14th, he added. Zata said the BRP Andres Bonifacio will sail to Busan, Republic of Korea, and Changi, Singapore to participate in the naval maneuvers. ADMM Plus Marsec FTX 2019 represents an opportunity for invited navies to participate in multinational maritime activities in a manner which promotes greater levels of military cooperation and understanding amongst nations in a maritime security environment. The BRP Andres Bonifacio is among the 3 Del Pilar-class offshore patrol vessels being operated by the Philippine Navy. In other news, Indonesia's presidential challenger on Friday slammed pollsters as untrustworthy and said they should move to Antarctica so they could lie to the penguins, as he refused to concede defeat in last week's election. Firebrand ex-General Prabowo Subianto has rejected a dozen so-called quick counts that say Indonesian President Joko Widodo was re-elected Wednesday by a comfortable margin. The counts, which are samples conducted by pollsters, have been reliable indicators in past elections. Official results are not due until next month. Subianto, pilloried online for his refusal to concede, ratcheted up the rhetoric Friday after claiming he was the Southeast Asian nation's new president.
Mereka ingin menggambarkan bahwa kita mungkin punya niat-niat yang aneh-aneh. Tidak ada yang aneh-aneh. Kita ingin menegakkan keadilan dan kebenaran. Warga negara yang selalu mengutamakan perdamaian dan kedamaian. Jangan kita diprovokasi.
Friday's crowd size was small for a city that has seen huge street protests in the past. Subianto portrayed himself as a man of the people during the heated presidential campaign, despite his immense wealth and ties to Indonesia's corrupt Suharto dictatorship, which collapsed in 1998. On Thursday evening, Widodo said that he had received phone calls from world leaders to congratulate him on the country's polls, but added that he would await final results before formally declaring victory. Subianto has alleged voter fraud and warned he would challenge the results in court. He did the same unsuccessfully after losing to Widodo in 2014, and there is little to suggest Subianto will win this latest fight.
Kita siap turun ke jalan jika ketidakadilan tetap. Bukan presiden yang suka.
Meanwhile, the U.S. launched on Saturday a $183 million cleanup at a former Vietnam storage site for Agent Orange, a toxic defoliant used in their bitter war, which years later is still blamed for severe birth defects, cancers, and disabilities. Located outside Ho Chi Minh City, Bien Hoa Air Base, the latest site, scheduled for rehabilitation after Da Nang Air Base's cleanup last year, was one of the main storage grounds for Agent Orange and only hastily cleared by soldiers near the war's end more than 4 decades ago. U.S. forces sprayed 80 million liters or 21 million gallons of Agent Orange over South Vietnam between 1962 and 1971 in a desperate bid to flush out Viet Cong communist guerrillas by depriving them of tree cover and food. The spillover from the clearing operation is believed to have seeped beyond the base and into groundwater and rivers, and is linked to severe mental and physical disabilities across the generations of Vietnamese, from enlarged heads to deformed limbs. The fact that the two former foes are now partnering on such a complex task is nothing short of historic, said the U.S. Ambassador to Vietnam, Daniel Crittenbrink, at Saturday morning's launch attended by Vietnamese military officials and U.S. senators. Hanoi says up to 3 million Vietnamese people were exposed to Agent Orange, and that 1 million suffer grave health repercussions today, including at least 150,000 children with birth defects.
Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net 25.
News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Welcome back. Brunei was ranked 7th among Southeast Asian countries for fixed broadband speed for March this year. In a report in en.rankwire.com, it said that Speedtest.net released their monthly global index for mobile and fixed broadband speeds on Friday, which showed that Brunei experienced a download speeds of 19.03 megabits per second or Mbps and upload speeds of 12.01 Mbps for March. The global average for the month was 57.91 Mbps and 28.68 Mbps respectively. The figure sees Brunei jump 6 places from February to 103rd globally out of 178 countries. It also places the Sultanate behind Singapore with 199.62 Mbps, Thailand with 76.72 Mbps, Malaysia with 67.15 Mbps, Vietnam with 27.60 Mbps, Laos with 22.92 Mbps, and the Philippines with 19.03 Mbps in the region. The index ranks Singapore as the country with the fastest internet speeds in the world. In other news, 29 projects of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, worth 90.29 billion pesos have been declared energy projects of national significance, or EPNS. These projects include the Hermosa San Jose 500 kilovolt transmission line, Western Luzon 500 kV backbone, Pagbilao Tayabas 500 kV transmission line, San Jose Quezon 230 kV transmission line, Bataan 230 kV grid reinforcement, Ambuklao Binga San Manuel 230 kV transmission line, Pinili 230 kV substation, Tuguegarao Magapit 230 kV transmission line, Navotas Doña Imelda 230 kV transmission line, Taguig Taytay 230 kV transmission line, San Manuel Nagsaag 230 kV transmission line, Calaca Dasmariñas 230 kV transmission line, and the San Simon 230 kV substation. Among the projects crucial for the development of the grid are the Hermosa San Jose 500 kV transmission line, which will add a new 500 kV corridor for new and old block generation capacities in the Bataan and Zambales areas, while the San Manuel Nagsaag 230 kV transmission line aims to improve the transmission corridor of Central Luzon. The Navotas Manila, or Doña Imelda 230 kV transmission line, which includes the construction of a new Navotas 230 kV substation, will help secure the integrity of the grid serving Metro Manila and surrounding provinces. Meanwhile, the Pagbilao 500 kV substation and the Pagbilao Tayabas 500 kV transmission line project is intended to cater to around 3,370 megawatts of additional power from incoming power plants in the Quezon province, such as the San Buenaventura Coal, AOE coal-fired power plant, and the Pagbilao CCGT power plant. In May 2018, NGCP was also issued an EPNS for its Mindanao-Visayas interconnection project, which will see the realization of the Philippine grid in 2020. The MVIP was the first project to be declared and EPNS. An EPNS under Executive Order 30 will be given expedited issuance of all regulatory and documentary requirements from local and national government agencies. This includes the action of application of permits and requirements within 30 days, and the immediate and automatic approval of all applications within 5 working days if no action of the said agency has been made after 30 days. Philippine coconut oil or CNO exports in marketing year 29-2020 may fall by 5% to 950,000 metric tons due to the persistent global vegetable oil glut and the anticipated drop in copra output. The Global Agricultural Information Network or GAIN report, which was prepared by the United States Department of Agriculture Foreign Agricultural Service in Manila, said CNO exports may decline by 50,000 metric tons from the estimated 1 million metric tons in 2018 to 2019. The report attributed the decline to expected downward cyclical period of output by coconut trees, which would pull down CNO production in 2019 to 2020 to 1.66 MMT from 1.71 MMT. The report, which was published recently, read for 1920 CNO output is expected to contract further to 1.66 million tons, consistent with the projected decrease in copra production during the year. The coconut oil marketing year for the USDA runs from October until September next year. The GAIN report projected that the country's CNO consumption would remain flat at 710,000 metric tons from 2018 to 2019 until the next marketing year due to subdued CNO prices as a result of a global vegetable oil glut. Copra output in marketing year 2019 to 2020 could also decline by nearly 5% to 2.5 MMT from 2.63 MMT in the current marketing year, as coconut trees are likely on the verge of stress after 2 years of heavy nut bearing and will produce less copra as a result, according to the report. Tree stress will become more pronounced in marketing year 1920, with copra output forecast to decline by 130,000 tons to 2.5 million tons. Also, the report estimated that the country's copra mill output in marketing year 2019 to 2020 would decline by 30,000 metric tons to 870,000 metric tons from 900,000 metric tons due to the drop in copra supply. Copra mill consumption, inclusive of losses in marketing year 1920, is forecast to decline 40,000 metric tons to 520,000 metric tons on decreased copra output and crush as a result of coconut trees a downward cyclical period. However, the GAIN report estimated that the country's copra mill exports would remain flat at 350,000 metric tons in 2019 to 2020, as coconut trees likely take a rest after consecutive years of heavy nut bearing.
I am Teacher Sally, and this is Kid Kwento, one of Net25 Kids' online shows. Kid Kwento is now on TV. You can watch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Also watch Anong Sinyo with Ate DJ every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Sa Kid Kwento, ang aming motto ay, let's all read to succeed! Hooray! Kita-kita tayo ha! Bye-bye!
Hi everyone! Word Hope will be having all new episodes very soon. We can't wait for all of you to join us again as we learn many things. We will have loads of fun learning new words and values as well. So, stay tuned to Net25 Kids every Saturday and Sunday, 8:30 to 9 a.m. only on Net25.
Welcome back. F1 Aston Martin cars from the Red Bull Racing team hold a demo race in the streets of Hanoi, with former F1 driver David Coulthard participating in the colorful event a year before the 2020 Vietnam Grand Prix.
Thực ra là lần này là lần đầu tiên mà mình nhìn được một chiếc xe công thức 1 chạy ở đường phố ở ngoài đời thực á, và thực ra mình cũng rất là hâm mộ cái môn đua xe công thức 1 á, và cảm xúc của mình bây giờ nó rất là tuyệt vời, hào hứng và thực sự là rất là bốc cháy.
Thì em rất là thích, từ bé em đã thích là xem đua công thức 1 rồi. Nên em rất là hào hứng, em rất muốn đi xem. Nên là em sẽ mua vé để em đi xem cái giải này. Rất là trông đợi, muốn trông đợi là nhìn thấy tận mặt các cái gọi là vận động viên để đua công thức 1 này. Và thế là một cái không khí sôi động của một lễ hội, như là một lễ hội đua xe ấy. Đây là một giải.
The track is around Hanoi's Mai Stadium, about 13 kilometers from the city center after it was deemed too expensive to hold the race in the city's famed Old Quarter. Formula One announced last year it would host its first ever race in Vietnam as it seeks to gain a foothold in Asia, where the franchise has a patchy track record. The Marina Bay Sands Street Track night race in Singapore remains F1's crown jewel in Asia, with the city-state's Grand Prix drawing 263,000 fans last year. But Malaysia, South Korea and India have all pulled the plug on hosting races in recent years after hemorrhaging money. Vietnam, where racing is a marginal sport, is hoping to avoid those pitfalls.
So I think it's a combination of a city race, we're in a city center, a street race, which always has some special elements to it, and a track that I think we've had the opportunity to really work from day one to design in a way that we think can deliver some very tough racing events.
Still in Vietnam, more than 130 participants show off their colorful designs during a centuries-old Flute Kites Festival at the Bois de Noi village in Hanoi. Take a look.
Buổi chiều hôm nay khi thả diều truyền thống của nàng Bá Dương Lời.
Theo người dân của dân làng ấy thì năm nào mà thả được diều bay cao, sáo kêu to, điều đó chứng tỏ rằng năm đấy sẽ báo hiệu cho một cái năm mà thời tiết sẽ mưa thuận, gió hòa, mùa màng tươi tốt, bệnh tật tiêu tán. Còn năm
Cứ muối là số 4 đây là chúng mình.
Bây giờ chính vì cái mạng thời kỳ bây giờ hiện nay là thời kỳ mạng 4.0. Game online ra rất nhiều, trẻ con rất là đam mê. Nên là những cái thú vui của ngày xưa thì bây giờ giới trẻ như là ít chơi được. Nhưng là
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Timera, and I'm one with 25.